Hello and welcome to a 3D photo show about the island Crete. First of all, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got into the 3D photography. One moment. In my young years, I was interested in stereograms and I created them myself on the computer. A book I own is describing about the beginnings of stereography, and I was fascinated by the fact that the artist Salvador Dali even painted 3D pictures. Of course, the book also covers the beginning of the 3D photography. However, it took me almost 2 decades before a 3D TV and cheap compact cameras gave me the idea of getting back into the 3D photography. I built a 3D photo system from 2 Fujifilm cameras that are fully electronically interconnected. These are mounted on an aluminum frame, which allows me to enlarge the baseline from 7 to 19 centimeter. Thanks to the 5 times optical zoom of the cameras, I can produce good 3D results even with distant subjects. But it took me several attempts and numerous cameras to achieve the best possible result for the electronic communication between the 2 cameras. This photo here shows the remaining parts of version 1 and 2, and I have now some spare parts for my current system. For me, 3D photography is very different from taking photos with a normal camera. Using current video games, I practiced how I can achieve optimal results with 3D photos and what I need to pay attention to in 3D photography. Some of my 3D photos I publish via Instagram. Now let me take you to Crete. Crete is the largest Greek island and is located in the Mediterranean Sea, almost 100 kilometers south of the Greek mainland. The island has a lot of space. It has an area of approximately 8,300 square kilometers. If you like the weather dry, hot to humid alpine, it will be perfect to you. The coastal regions are very barren and rocky with typical Mediterranean vegetation. The island is characterized by a mountain range stretching from west to east with peaks over 2,400 meters. In winter, it is rainy and mild, and the mountains are covered in snow. If you want it more tropical, in the south of the island are some areas where even pine forests grow. Here in the Preveli pine forest, there are no crocodiles in the water, only tourists. Some of the tourists you can find also on the beach areas. The eastern part of Crete is one of the most barren and driest regions in Europe. There are some fertile regions, such as the Lasiti Plateau. This plateau is completely surrounded by mountains. In the past, windmills equipped with canvas were used on this plateau for irrigation, but today they are only preserved for the tourists. Due to the mountains, Crete has a lot of deep gorges. These gorges offer a unique subject for landscape photography, even if you stay on the climbing paths. Some examples Here, the Preveli Gorge and the Patzos Gorge. On the ropes on the right side, you can see that this path is only for experienced hikers. For the unexperienced hikers are some long and wide routes to other gorges. In this photo here, you can see the light spots on the stones clearly. These show you where the water rises to in the wintertime. In late summer, only a manageable amount of water flows here. If you like it more deeper, you can visit some caves. Here you can see the entrance to the Melidoni cave and also some impressions from inside the cave. Another example is the Sventoni cave. If you are interested in history, Crete has a lot to offer. The island is known for the Minoan culture, which is classified as dating from around 3000 to 1500 BC. The ruins of palaces, such as the Knossos site near Heraklion, are witness to this culture. Some of the buildings had up to 5 floors. The palace probably had up to 1,300 rooms in total. You can also find some restored frescoes and a lot of tourists. Up to 1 million people visit the excavation site of Knossos every year. At the beginning of the 13th century, the Venetians claimed Crete for themselves. Typical of this period are a lot of architectural buildings like the port of the city of Chania. Here you can see the long harbor wall with the Venetian lighthouse. And if you look around, you still can find some details from this period. This photo shows the view to the city's old harbor buildings. During the Venetian period, several fortresses were built for the ports and the towns. Some of these fortresses are very extensive, such as the fortress of the city of Rethymno. The total length of the completely preserved enclosure wall of this fortress is more than 1,300 meters. But only a few of the original buildings have been preserved. The city of Heraklion has also a Venetian harbor with a fortress. The port became the most important place in the Eastern Mediterranean region with the greatest export activity. The Venetian loggia in the center of this photo here is one of the most important buildings in Crete from this period. The building served as a meeting place for the nobility. Another example of this period is the Morosini Fountain and the Church of Agios Titus. One of the most important national monuments in Crete is the Arcadia Monastery. The basilica was built in the middle of the 16th century during the Venetian rule of Crete and is a reconstruction of an earlier church. In the museum, you can still look at some objects from the last centuries. And if you need some more information, you can ask the monks who still live in the monastery. In the 17th century, the Turks conquered the island and integrated it into the Ottoman Empire. A few remaining ruins still bear witness to the sometimes bloody rule of the Turks. Here you can see the remaining walls of an Ottoman barracks. The site is now a feeding ground for goats. The main economic sector of Crete today is tourism. Around 4 to 5 million tourists visit the island every year, concentrated in the major tourist regions of Heraklion, Chania, and Rethymno in the north of the island. The focus on the tourism can be clearly seen in the cities with their long shopping streets. Here you can buy practically all kinds of tourist goods in small stores. Bags and hats, shoes, coffee, some things you can put in your bag, fish, some plates for your fish. And if you don't like fish, you can buy some fruits for your new plate. And even at the harbor are small trading boats with tourist goods. If you don't want to prepare the fish yourself, Crete is also known for its great gastronomy. In the big cities, there are countless restaurants and bars on the harbor streets and also in the alleys. There is at least one small tavern in every small village. And the food is often cooked over open grills. But what happens when the tourists don't come? The strong economic focus on tourism comes with some dangers. The consequences of the financial crisis in 2008, the years of the corona pandemic, and the absence of the Russian tourists since 2022 are evident in the urban and settlement landscape of the island. A remarkable number of so-called lost places can be found in villages and towns. Abandoned apartments and houses, unfinished residential buildings, deserted alleys, collapsing walls, abandoned new constructions like this one from the University of Crete are quite usual on the island. Former hotel and tourist complexes are now in the resting lost places. Here you can see an abandoned bar with a pool area. Abandoned buildings are not the only challenges. In many places, you can find abandoned cars rusting away in towns and villages. And if you are lucky, you can find some old travel buses which have now become part of the landscape. However, these deserted places offer beautiful 3D photo opportunities. I was very impressed by Crete. I liked the architectural witness of the history, the kindness of the people who do not complain about the challenges. Many alleys with seemingly no end. Countless cats. Individual color points in the animal world. Tingling wild fruits. Delicious drinks. Wonderful sunsets. And a very able landscape. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.